This is Sonic, and you're watching SonicsChannel.
Hey guys, Michael Hunter here with a new style of video for you. Basically, I'm just going to talk about my opinions on different Sonic-related things. Now, if you have an idea of any particular name, maybe, that I could come up with for this series where I just talk about my opinions on different things, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about SEGA and the games that they make. It seems like a lot of the games that would appeal to Sonic fans aren't quite being made right now. SEGA had so many good games back in the day that for some reason they just won't bring them back. And I'm just really confused as to why they aren't doing anything with them. It's really strange. They just seem to be focusing a lot on Sonic himself, which, of course, that's obvious why they would. That's basically their mascot, and he sells like crazy. But there are other games too that they had so much potential, and I could really see them keeping up these games just like Nintendo does with Zelda and Donkey Kong and other franchises that they do. But SEGA, they seem very limited right now. Seems like the only other game that might appeal to Sonic fans that SEGA's even making right now is Super Monkey Ball. Of all franchises, why this? Not saying they aren't any fun or anything, but I don't know, to me it's just strange. They could easily bring back these really cool characters and make new games out of them. And one of the things that made me really think about this is how I have another channel, some of you might know, called Super Mario Channel. That channel is based off of everything Nintendo related because it kind of fits into the Mario fan base. So on that channel, there are so many different possibilities of content that I can create because pretty much all the Nintendo franchises appeals to Mario fans. And when I was really exploring the new types of content to make on Sonic's channel, I'm thinking, I'm really only limited to just Sonic himself, because there aren't very many SEGA games out right now that would really appeal to the Sonic fan base and audience. Now, one of these games would be Jet Set Radio. Why have they not been making new Jet Set Radio games? The last one we got was Jet Set Radio Future on the Xbox One. Well, not the Xbox One, like, as in, yeah, the first Xbox. Yeah, that Xbox. But yeah, why is there only like 2 Jet Set Radios? It was the first game to really introduce cel-shaded graphics, and even to this day, both games look really good. Even the Dreamcast version looks good, because it's just a really timeless and ageless graphic style. And I just don't understand why they won't take that concept of going around putting graffiti on the walls and run away from the cops. It was such a unique gameplay style. And you would think they would continue to make that and really expand on the ideas they had in it. Like, of course, we got these characters in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing and Sonic Racing Transformed, but it's been forever since they've had their own games, and I just don't understand why they're just kind of sitting on the shelf and not doing anything with them. Now, if you watch one of the episodes of Did You Know Gaming, they actually talked about Jet Set Radio and how there was a company that presented an idea for them for a new Jet Set Radio. They had new character designs and new ideas and everything. It just seemed to fit perfectly for the Jet Set Radio universe, and it would have been a great new direction for it, especially the designs. They look great. And for some reason, SEGA just decided not to do it. And it would have been amazing. And same for Vectorman on the Sega Genesis. That was a really nice game. Very unique. The graphics were super smooth, and Vectorman himself was like full of personality, even having a bunch of voice clips in the game when this was even in an era of games that didn't even have voice acting at the time. Most of the time anyway. It had catchy music, and it seemed like it could have been easily another Sega mascot. And they could have just kept making new games of Vectorman, and they just could have kept that going. He was so popular, and people would have really loved that character. And even to this day, people still love Vectorman, but for some reason, they just won't make a new one. Now, there was one that was announced, but it pretty much looked terrible. They didn't take the same gameplay style at all. They changed his design. He pretty much wasn't even Vectorman anymore. So I'm actually glad that one was canceled. But yeah, it just kind of blows my mind as to why they aren't really fully exploring these franchises that they have, and we can have a nice variety of Sega mascots to this day. As I said before, like Nintendo, they have Star Fox. Like, all these characters seem to be relevant today, but Sega has so many recognizable faces, and they just won't do anything with them. I don't understand. There's also Ristar, Streets of Rage, which I can kind of understand why there's no new Streets of Rage, because it was a beat 'em up style, and And you have to really know what you're doing when you're bringing back that style of gameplay. Like, it has to be the right graphic style, which they could definitely do. Like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, for example. But yeah, I think you all get my point of what I'm trying to say, and let me know what you guys think. Do you think Sega should really bring back these big games like Knights, Jet Set Radio, Vectorman, and all these other iconic characters from back in the day? There are several games that Nintendo makes where if you love Mario, you'll most likely love this game too. And they're able to just really expand on the universes and do different things with these really iconic characters. Everybody loves them, they're all relevant. And Sega, these characters aren't relevant anymore, except for when they make appearances in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, for example. Now actually, before I close this video out, I have an idea of maybe why Sega isn't making any more new games like this, and it could have something to do with them not making their own consoles anymore. Maybe one of the reasons they kept making these original and unique games was to try to sell their consoles. So probably as a result, they ended up making more original games to try to set it apart from the competition. Because when they had their own console, they had to work a lot harder to come up with their own original ideas to give people reasons to switch to their system rather than Nintendo or PlayStation. But now that they don't have that anymore, maybe they don't feel like there's any point in making them, which is really a shame, but that could very well be the reasoning. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What Sega games would you like to see return? And what do you think maybe their reasoning is behind this? Alright, well it looks like that should about do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and also if you have an idea for a name for the series, let me know what it should be called in the comments. And if I do pick yours, I'll go ahead and give you a shout out in my next video like this. Alright, so that about wraps it up for this video. This is Michael Hunter, and I'll see you guys next time. Later!
This has been